Hi everybody, this is Clarine from In Reenie's Room, and today I'm going to show you how to make a double Z card. And this is what it looks like, and it folds up like this and goes into a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 envelope. Probably want to get a bigger envelope in this case because it's pretty fat when we get all the stuff in there. And then it opens up, and there you have your New Year's card for 2023. And then here's the back. You can put your sentiment back there. Okay, so let's get started. Show you how to make this. Now, these are the cutting sizes. There's a lot of them, so as you cut them, I would suggest that you make little stacks. Have your base, the metallic that I used in the back, and then another one for your patterned, or whichever you choose to do. So I'm just going to run over this with you real quick. I cut my base out of black cardstock, and it's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, which is this piece. Then there's an additional second Z that is 1 1/2 by 11. And then there are two little pieces that I'll show you what those are for. These are going to actually hold in the center to hold up your little stars and things. Rather than have you watch me cut, I kind of went ahead and did everything ahead of time. So I chose a metallic for my background, and then of course my pattern paper is also a glitzy metallic type. So because of that, I connected everything with Elmer's tape runner. If you use tape when you're working with the metallics, you get fingerprints all over everything and they mess up pretty quickly. So copy down these measurements: base, background, I use metallic, and then whatever patterned paper you choose. So I'm going to set that to the side. Now, to make all of my elements that I put on here, I brought everything into Photoshop. I printed it up. These are 4 little squares that I used to make the 2023 numbers in the background. And I cut all that out beforehand. And then these little guys were actually cut out with my scan and cut. Everything else I just fussy cut. And then I drew up a page for the champagne glasses. And those are also in there. But there is one thing I did want to show you. When you cut out these two tiny pieces, the one that is 1 inch by 4 5/8, what I wanted to show you that I did that's different is I scored them per the directions. The score marks are on there also. I scored them at the 7/8 and then flipped them over and folded them like that. Now this part here was too long, so I actually came down from the 7/8, did another 1/4 of an inch, and just clipped that off because I didn't want a big tab here. And you'll see in a minute just why that is. Otherwise, there's my base. I'm going to set these two little pieces to one side. And voila! I have all of my papers down. And like I said, I used Elmer's runner tape rather than glue, but there will be some parts where we're going to use the glue. So this is going to be the card. And sorry about that, I lost the other half of the Z card. This is the smaller base that you cut, the one that's 1 1/2 by 11. And of course I already stuck on the other layers. So it's going to go together like this. To to make that happen, I'm going to have you fold this Z card. This goes this way, burnish it, and then the first score line goes backwards, also burnish that. And that makes your back for your Z card. This is your second Z card. So you will fold it over and then fold this one back and burnish your folds. And that's going to become this section here on the bottom. Now these little guys are the reason I had to cut them a little bit shorter. They are going to go inside this box, right back here. So let me put the first one on and then I'll show you how to attach those so that we can come back and put in. If you ever made an explosion card, that's kind of what this is. I just tagged it on there. All right, so I'm going to take this second Z part and I'm going to fold this over and fold that one and then flip it back because we are only going to glue this part to the front. So let me just put a couple of lines down here. And then I'm going to line up the bottom with the end of my pattern paper so that this will line up over here. See how the black on this second Z is just above that gold line. And then you just push it down and it's attached. Then the second one, to make that stick, you're going to put the runner tape just on this last section. So let me run a couple strips here. And 2 strips seem to be working fine. I've made a few of these now and they're holding up just great. And then you just fold this over, making sure that on the bottom here you have it running along that same line that you have the first one on. And you just press it down, right like that. Then you have these. Now I used glue to attach these 2 inner sections. So I just put a little glue here, a little bit of glue here, and I came up from the bottom, and these 2 sections are going to give you the distance between the middle and your front and your back. So I'm just putting them in like here, and they just fit right in. See how the sides are down here? So I just press them and press that one down. And then he's just sitting right in there. And I'm going to do the second one. It's going to attach from the back. So I'll put a little bit of glue here. And come down on the bottom. And these little end pieces are going to go on the back side, and then you glue them onto the side sections. So they go like that, press it down, and then this one goes on that side, and you just hold them down there. Let that glue get a hold. Bring this guy down here. Don't worry if they get away from you, you know, glue dries clear, so wherever they touch, they'll be okay. Besides, they're on the inside. All right, so that's the part I wanted to make sure that I worked for you, because that's where we're going to be attaching our fun stuff. Okay, and believe it or not, the rest of it is just kind of going to be a little fun thing to do. I went ahead and cut out my champagne and my glasses and my clock, and these I attached mostly with the little pop-ups. Now I did take the black pop-ups, and I get these from Stampin' Up. I'm sure they have them somewhere else, but I wanted to attach my year with the black pop-ups because the white was showing through too much. So I'm just bringing all my little parts and pieces over here, There's my 2023. Good gravy. Okay, who'd have thought? All right. I also went ahead and used Distress ink to just get all the white off the edges of these, and I did that on the glasses as well as the bottle of champagne. These stars are cut out from a die set, and we'll put those on. So I have those laying over here. Okay, so I'm just going to start right in and show you what I did. I did not put pop-ups on the champagne just because this, if it gets mailed, it's got a lot of thickness. I just didn't want to add to it. So I'm just going to kind of dry fit it before I set it down. It's going to go in there. I also wanted to put a little bit of this festive. It's funny, this is actually a horn. You know those horns that you get at New Year's? So I cut off the bottom part and just used the top. So I'm going to take, I think I'll put that on with glue also. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue back here. And I'm going to put it over in the corner here. So my champagne's going to go that way. And I'm going to put a little bit of this in here just to tie everything in. And I'll just press that down. There we go. And then I'm going to put another little piece, bring some more in here, over here. And I'm going to have it kind of at an angle, so I'm going to cut part of that off. I'll put that on with my glue. And I'll just lay it up against there. Be careful when you start putting in all these little ephemera pieces that you stay with your lines, because if you go to mail this, it's already getting nice and thick. If you're going to mail this, you don't want to have any parts sticking over the side, so just kind of keep an eye on that. All right, then I'm going to put a couple of these, let me put this date on. I'm going to put the date on first. Now, like I said, I used the black pop-ups, but that's a very thin date, so I'm having to cut these up a little bit. Just use half to go around it. So I'll bring that over here, and then that just fits in there perfectly for the back side of these. If I had a bigger card, maybe I could have made those a little fatter, but this will work just fine. And it just takes a couple. Put that there. And let's see. If I had thought about it, I could have done this ahead of time too, so bear with me and I'll get them on there. And we'll put the 2 up here. I burnished those numbers as well. And I'll just cut up another piece here. Put that in there. I did make one with the white pop-ups and it did not look good because you could see all the pop-ups. So if you're using a black base, it's really going to be worth your while to get these black ones. Okay. And then I'm going to put the 4th one on, that way I can center them a little bit better. So I'm going to put the 3 about here. And then we'll get the O. to 0. They don't have to be perfect. You can kind of give them a little bit of an angle. It'll look good, and it won't take quite as much trouble trying to get everything to line up. And I'll put this guy over here. Okay, so he goes in there. Now when I put the clock on, I used pop-ups for that. And I just used the standard size and made like a little ring of them. I always like to stay inside your edge so that they're not showing, but it gives you the dimension that you want. So I put that in there. And I put that over here. And again, make sure that you're staying within your perimeters. Okay, now when I put the other ones inside here, I did the same thing as I did with that first one. I put one of these is fatter than the others, so I put that in the center just because that's a big space to fill in. So I put glue on here. And just held it for a second. Okay, and you know, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me put the rest of these on, because this is what it's going to look like. The important thing to remember is that this is two-sided sometimes, so when you put your champagne glass on, I would glue that so that you have a nice look in the back rather than clear. And that is it. There you have it. Your New Year's double Z card. Okay, thanks so much for watching.